up a dive. Feel the vibe, get ready to ignite. Untold stories in the airways, flying through the night. Experience voices, tales so bold. Streaming live, the truth unfolds. Untold Radio Network, where secrets come alive. New episodes daily, the mysteries thrive. Great guests, super chat, it's so I remember right. Share and subscribe, join the side where truth can't hide. Aliens in the attic, UFOs in the sky. Cryptids lurking, oh my, oh my. Ghosts in the hallway, whispering your name. The paranormal, the unexplained. Become a VIP, get the inside scoop. Unlock the mysteries, be part of the group. Live streaming stories, they're talking to you. Super chats buzzing, join the crew. Untold Radio Network, the secrets come alive. New episodes daily, the mysteries thrive. Great guests, super chat, it's a wild member ride. Share and subscribe, join the side where truth can hide. So if you've got the guts and you want to explore, tune into the Untold, it's what you're looking for. From aliens to ghosts and all that's unseen. Untold Radio Network, where the world's mysteries convene.
The paranormal, UFOs, monsters, mysteries. You're listening to Talking Weird. And now, from a cabin deep in the Northwoods, your host, Dr. Dean Bertram.
Greetings, all my fellow weirdos and weirdettes. Welcome to Talking Weird on the Untold Radio Network. I'm your host, Dean Bertram, and as always, I'm delighted that you're going to be spending the next hour or so of your life with me. Whether it's watching live when we go out on X and Facebook and YouTube every Thursday night at 9 p.m. Central US time, or perhaps you're watching or listening to the show archived on one of those sites after our live drop, or maybe you're listening to the audio-only version of the show, which drops on every podcast platform the Friday after the Thursday night show. Welcome, whatever time zone you're in. And wherever you are, whether you're here with me live now or somewhere in the future, greetings. I'm having a great summer. I hope you are all too. I'm having an amazing time with my daughter. It's always fun in the summer to go to the lake and the like and run around outside and go on adventures. But I'm also having a great fun summer going on trips with my amazing girlfriend, Samantha Krause, who many of you know, who are regulars now, shooting our show home movie Legend Trip. We just shot an episode at UFO Days in Elmwood, Wisconsin. UFO Days is a celebration of the many UFO sightings, particularly a significant string of sightings in Elmwood in the 1970s. And that became such a popular UFO hotspot. There was talk and an initial plan to actually build a UFO landing port there, the type recommended by Donald Kehoe, the head of NICAP, back in the 1960s when he recommended doing it. And this was obviously flash forward to the 80s, but it almost happened. We almost had a UFO landing port. And hence the moniker, I guess, of the town, the UFO capital of the world. That episode is coming up. We're also going to Lake Pepin this weekend, and we'll be looking for the Lake Pepin monster, Pepe, and Chad Lewis will be in that, which is amazing. We recently shot, in the most recent episode, the featured person in that episode is our guest that we have tonight, and he's a heck of a nice human being, as well as super knowledgeable in all things weird, particularly when it comes to extraterrestrials and interdimensional beings and the modalities we might use to contact them. And he's a US Air Force veteran, a consciousness researcher, and founder of Central Wisconsin CE5, a group dedicated to exploring peaceful contact with extraterrestrial and interdimensional intelligences through conscious-based practices. Drawing from his studies at the renowned Monroe Institute, I'll have to ask him a little bit about that tonight, and his own transformative experiences, he combines a grounded practical approach with a deep exploration of meditation, expanded states of awareness, and human-initiated contact. And since founding Central Wisconsin C5 in 2022, he's guided hundreds of participants through C5 protocols, and Sam and I both watched him and filmed him doing it firsthand, and it was absolutely fascinating, as well as the experiences that came after that. He's also led many group coherence exercises and skywatch events designed to foster meaningful contact experiences. Through education, personal testimony, and experiential learning, he encourages others to explore the connection between consciousness, multidimensional reality, and humanity's place in the greater cosmos. So I'm delighted to welcome to Talking Weird the wonderful Zach Skrede. Zach.
Hey, Dean, thanks for having me on.
Man, did I get the pronunciation of your last name correct as well?
Yep, perfect.
I thought so. Man, I had such a great time, and so did Sam, when you and initially it was Melissa Kane who put me in touch with you, and you guys very kindly had me to your recent C5 contact event which was absolutely amazing. And maybe we'll get to that, particularly if Sam Krause, my filmmaking partner and girlfriend, drops in, because I know she wanted to talk more about that, and I think she's coming tonight to talk about it. But perhaps it's an obvious first question, but I'm genuinely interested because I didn't get to talk to you about this at all when we were at your contact event. What initially drew you into trying to elicit contact with the other, or what took you down this path?
I think it was kind of on the tail end of COVID when I finally had watched one of Stephen Greer's documentaries, Unacknowledged, and at the end of it, they kind of introduced the CE5 process, and like everyone was out here doing this, and I said, "Oh wow, this is awesome," because I just saw a bunch of other stuff in the documentary that I had been part of on the back end in my time in the Air Force. So it was all of a sudden like, oh wow, cool, we can talk about this stuff in the open now, and there's a way that we can go make our own contact, and it just took off from there.
Wow. Did you, when you had to learn the protocols or learn how to do it yourself, I know it mentioned in your bio, which I'm also fascinated, that you spent some time at the Monroe Institute. Was that part of the processes did you learn the processes there perhaps to do this, or?
No, not really. And they get close to it, and they have some star lines programs that you can get to. You kind of have to follow through a few different courses to get there. But it's kind of an area that they fall short on. So, they're still an institute, and they have to kind of follow certain rules and things. And that's kind of one of their fences that they hit.
Gotcha. Did that help? Did that help you develop some of your, I suppose, abilities or your protocols or ways to think in these type of directions, though? Or?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it was amazing experience to go through, and I think I started meditating and was into this process probably 2 years before going there, and it put a lot of things into context and organized through a lot of the sort of etherical things that I was experiencing, and then to get there and talk to people that are experiencing the same things, and you're meeting these people kind of out there, while you're in meditation, you're interacting with people that in the physical sense as well. So yeah, it was a real magical place in that sense.
Wow. I think that this is an interesting path we can go down for a minute. Maybe talk a little bit about your experiences before, perhaps, that you had this type of skill sets and abilities you've developed now, and how they changed, or how your understanding of these things changed, and how that might have actually now impacts your actual experiences, like the difference perhaps as you've grown in this.
Yeah, because it's been a fluid process, and depending on who you talk to and like the wider community, there's purists that will say that things have to be done like exactly this way, and you have to be of this vibration, and it is a sacred process, kind of no matter at what level you're doing it with, and just having the kind of honor and respect for that, is really the prerequisite. But it's something that anyone can do, and it's something that we can do at different levels, just like athletics or sports. We can be a weekend enthusiast, or you can be a professional money making athlete doing it for a living. So whatever fits people. And so my process has kind of followed along that too, where I've saw the structure detailed, like step 1, step 2, step 3, do it by the book, taking notes the whole way, and then seeing more kind of laid back methods into it. And that's where I fall into a lot of it. Lately they've been a lot of like channelings that I'll get. So there's pre setup and preparation really hardly isn't anything. It's just get everyone there and on the same page, and then just kind of let it flow through, and it just will walk us through the meditation more or less. Yeah.
We have to talk about the channelings in a minute too. I know that I was actually surprised in a pleasant way of how relaxed you made that atmosphere there. It didn't feel like it didn't seem stressful at all. Everybody seemed, Zen's a kind of hokey word, to throw around, but it had that real feeling of everybody was very relaxed. There was no pressure. There just seemed to be a genuine peaceful presence or a peaceful environment there. And then I think you do a very good job yourself at facilitating that, because you're a very relaxed kind of human being.
Oh, thanks. It's good to hear.
In case Sam does drop on, we're going to come back to the event I was at anyway, because there's a number of things I still want to talk to you about that. But maybe we can just, because we're going to come back, and we want to get to the channeling as well in a minute, but maybe jump forward to your most recent event, because the funniest thing is you told me you just done this event. We were backstage before it started. You literally just said you just been to East City Ranch, and the second you said it, Flat Rockland, aka Matt Auckland, who's a good friend of mine, a good friend of the show, he's guested on the show. He'd seen the photo we had of the thumbnail. He hadn't seen the show at all yet because it hadn't started. He just commented, Zach looks like he belongs at East City Ranch in Trout Lake. And you were literally just telling me that you literally just come back from there.
Yep. I was there a week ago. About a week and a half ago. Yep. I did a remote viewing with, another Aussie, Peter Maxwell Slatery, and stayed there for a couple nights of skywatches, and kind of toured around the area and everything.
Did you find there were more contacts to be had there, or more activity there than say when you're at the location in Wisconsin that I was at, or?
There was, I guess about the same for me. A lot of new stuff, a lot of new energies and contacts for me, especially with Mount Adams in the backdrop. That was really cool.
It sounds like it's beautiful.
Yeah, being able to kind of connect with some of the things living in there, and they showed up, and kind of lights show up on the mountain out there. We had the video queued up if we wanted to get into that.
I'd love you to play it. Do you need me to operate it here for you, did we say, or?
Maybe.
Okay, let me add it to the stage, and
there we go. So yeah, like that was just this light that was just piercing through the clouds as they were going through. Like definitely not the moon that was over in that area. We had things like that streaking by, big power up flashers like that.
Wow.
And, there's different opinions on what some of these may be, and all that. Satellites going by and sun bouncing off of panels and such, but a lot of them came in conjunction with, say, different communications.
Right.
And yeah, these are the lights that come out up on the mountain. And wow. James Gillian, he was there, and he was telling us, "Oh, yep, the doors are open." So they're kind of open up their doors and come out and say hi to us, more or less. And I was talking with another local individual there that knows the mountain real well, and like that whole area where those are that's like not really climbable, accessible terrain. The rock, the lahar just kind of sheets off. You can't get up it at all. And,
wow.
No one's been able to. Yeah, no one's been able to tackle anything there yet as to exactly what they are.
I'm going to ask you questions about all this afterwards, but I'll let you continue to narrate as the video plays.
Oh, yeah, and I think that was the end of it.
Okay, cool. For starters, let's set the geography for those of us who aren't that familiar. So is Mount Adams near Mount Rainier? I know a little bit about that part of the world.
Yeah, it is about an hour and a half south of Rainier, kind of the south central area of the state.
And there's talk or legends or reports of things living inside that mountain you kind of alluded to and coming out. What's the background of that story, or those stories, or the things that are meant to be there?
Yeah, and I think there's been a lot of them. Well, that whole area is just covered with, Sasquatch tales, and then the other local individuals were telling me too, kind of some of the military activity that they've seen around there, coming through, Chinook helicopters coming by, and at weird times, especially when the lights were more active than not, and hearing other sounds and pressures and weird occurrences like associated with the helicopters too. So I think, there's been activity there for quite a while. James is his 40th year there at the ranch. And that's when he was kind of initially guided there, kind of because, they were there in the mountain, willing to talk with them and show people and, introduce us into the other worlds, more or less.
Wow. Yeah, Matt Auckland's from that part of the world, and he's just been saying how it's just like you're saying, it's a hot spot, and he's even had experiences there and seen all kinds of strange things. So what a fascinating part of the world. Did you stay at like a base camp there, or what was your setup like?
Yeah, I brought my tent and just kind of a little camp setup, and he's got a couple different cabin setups there and little like tent setups too that you can just pay to stay in, and I think they offer breakfasts, and then then there's usually different events and workshops and things that get hosted there throughout the year that you can go kind of participate in. And it seems like just about everyone has some sort of experience or witnesses something going through the sky, or the real treat making personal contact with something while they're there.
Did you feel you made a contact while you were there?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Well, with the mountain dwellers there, and just kind of some of the other energies that were local to his ranch and that area.
Are the mountain dwellers the Bigfoot you were talking about before, or are they something else?
Yeah, these I believe were something else. It felt like to me they were kind of friends with, for lack of a better term, with Sasquatches and those types of beings. But they were, kind of their own thing there in that mountain. And, they're more or less just waiting for the day that we can interact directly and, kind of fold into one here on the planet. And, when it's not just humans and the animals walking around here on the surface.
Wow. Is it a technological civilization or just a spiritual civilization?
Yeah,
or a
these ones,
combination?
were more, on like the natural side of things. Yeah.
Wow. So more perhaps like, I don't know, the fair folk or the other crowd or something like that.
Right. Yeah.
Fascinating. That's fascinating. And that I almost can't help. Sorry, go.
Oh yeah, and like the elementals and such. Yeah.
Was that a similar energy or a similar feeling that, because I know in the location we were at in Wisconsin, at that beautiful property, you were saying that there were like forest type dwellers, or there were things which were more of that type of nature. Was it are they a similar entity, or was it a similar feeling or a similar energy, or?
Yeah, some of them being the same, like, the same, like we see white-tailed deer here, and they would have some mule deer out there, kind of same species or related species.
And so this is a similar. So this would be a similar kind of thing. They're potentially related. The type of different things in either location.
Yeah.
To be honest, when we were there, and I had such an enjoyable time and really fulfilling time making the home movie legend trip there. It was and I know Samantha did as well, but I would have loved to. It was great. I mean, I'll be honest, you've watched it. When we were going there, that little conversation with me and Sam in the car is genuine. I was just filming and she was like, I don't think we're going to see anything. By the end of that, she had an entirely different, impression, because we did see things. So I think it was quite illuminating for both of us. But what fascinated me the most, that I got to talk to you a little bit about, but of course I was more interested in filming what was going on and trying to capture things in the sky and stuff, was that you said there you get just as much contact with the things in the woods as you do with the things in the sky. Can you talk a little bit about that and the differences, or and dealing with them and what they are, and anything you want to talk about that, I'd love to hear.
Yeah, sure. Because when I set out on this, it was originally, pointed at extraterrestrials, aliens, going out into outer space type things. And yeah, we hung on to that for a little while, and it was, how many was that? Yeah, almost 3 years ago, I guess. We were standing outside on one of our meetings, and it looked like a meteorite flying overhead. About all of us saw it and like, oh wow, cool. And the camera was just kind of set up and rolling by at the time, and it it happened to fly right in front of the camera. So I'm trying to find that video right now too. And because when I went back to look at the video the next morning and got through and found it, and it did fly right in front of the camera, but it wasn't a meteorite at all, because it came from the trees.
Wow.
And when we saw it in person, it looked like it was far over our head and putting out quite a bit of light behind it. So it was that was a pretty neat experience. And so I'd been kind of in contact with some of these like fairy folk and some of the other, like, say forest beings. Kind of still feels a little crazy thinking about it or talking about it, but there's forest gnomes are a real thing, and they're around us, and these things are occupying the same space that we do.
Right.
So they're very interested in our activity, and especially in regards to the planet and how it's being treated and all that. They very much like to see it survive along with them, and hopefully us.
Yeah, anyone who's a regular listener or viewer of the show knows that while maybe UFO lore is my wheelhouse, the other thing I'm most interested in is fairy faith and the other crowd. And I think I saw you just dropped another video there. Did you want me to go ahead and play that one for you?
Yeah, sure thing. Yeah, this is the
Okay.
of what we thought was a meteorite flying overhead. And yeah, right there we can see like it just came from in front of the trees and shot up overhead.
Wow.
And that kind of pattern, because people have seen these, they call them rods, and they've been sighted in daytime too, and like kind of silver in color. But that's kind of what something looks like if it's flapping its wings, and you get kind of the time lapse picture, because that was it was like 14 frames a second that was shot at, and I got four frames of it.
Wow.
So that was kind of like how stretched out the image of it was.
Right.
So when people were kind of, wondering what it was, or, it was bugs, it was a moth. That's what moths look like at night. And it's like, yeah, I'd say it had wings, but it was putting out quite a bit of light, and we don't
I know you is that one of the things you referenced? Because I was fascinated when we were there. You mentioned something that was the fireflies that aren't fireflies. Like there were these lights in the woods which aren't fireflies, but in some capacity might resemble them a little or something.
Yeah, because they've kind of been some little yellow sprinkles like higher up in the trees at times when there wouldn't normally be fireflies, and it's usually way cooler, or because they're normally out when it gets into the heat and humid of summer.
Right.
But we're seeing them in like early April.
Oh wow.
We're actually at a different place, but they were kind of sparkling like that too, and a couple of people said something about it, and then we said, yeah, what are they doing? And as soon as we said that and acknowledged them and all that, there wasn't a single one more, like the whole rest of the night. Like they just completely turned off.
Goodness.
That was kind of weird. It's like
they noticed you noticed.
Right. They've been had.
I mean, one of the things that I'm interested in just broadly in this phenomenon, and when I say the phenomenon, I mean everything strange, right? So from fairy folk to UFOs to Bigfoot to anything in this realm of the other, is how much do you think we ourselves bring to, and Sam just popped it in, so I'll add her to the screen. Is how much do you think we ourselves... You're going to have to pause the show. And Sam just popped it in, so I'll add her to the screen. Sam, you're going to have to mute your show. You were repeating that. Can you see me, Sam? Popped it in, so you're going to have to mute your mic. I can hear your show. I can hear the show in the background. You were repeating. Yeah, for some reason, if Sam can hear me, I can hear the show playing in the background. So you'll have to turn off the show, or it might be your microphone echoing. For some reason, if Sam can hear me, I can hear. Yeah, my mic must be echoing. You might need to put some headphones in or something. You can't? Yeah, my mic must be echoing. Try coming in again, because last time you were in the studio, this wasn't a problem. I don't know why I can hear myself backwards from there. Just maybe boot out and boot in again. And I'll just continue. Just try again. Try booting in. Oh, it's fixed now. Did you fix it? There you go. I can see Sam now. Okay. Sorry, Zach. I was just about to ask Zach a very Dean question, and I'll let you ask some questions, Sam. What I was about to ask was, I'm always interested in how much do you think we bring to the phenomenon ourselves? Like, and you who are out there with various people coming and, intentionally engaging with the other, do you think sometimes we're bringing our own perceptions and our own expectations, and sometimes the phenomenon is reflecting some of that back? Or how much do you feel that a person's own subconscious or a person's own perception affects their encounters?
Yeah, I think it does, and because you know people can bring things along with them. You know, if there's entities out there that are attached to people, they've come along and shown up to our meetings. You know, one of our regulars, she has some Sasquatch followings that go back very deep with her, and they've come and crashed some trees down like right as we started meditations and stuff, and it's kind of
Wow.
like, where'd they? It's like I think they came with her, but yeah, and then a lot of people, you're gonna get biases, and people are gonna see kind of what they want to see, sort of things, because people see the same thing, go across the sky and interpret it differently. So it's all open to that, of course.
I can't imagine that it doesn't play some significant part in our experiences with everything, even normal life. Our preconceptions are going to affect our impressions, that we get. Now Sam's here, we can talk more about the actual. We talked a little bit about it. We tried to hold on till Sam came here. The event that Sam and I were both at when we filmed our home movie Legend Trip episode there of UFO contact, which is so much fun. People can go and find it on YouTube, and they just go and look for Home Movie Legend Trip is the channel name if you want to see one of Zach's amazing events. And Sam and I kind of bumbling through it and doing our best to record it and have fun. I know you wanted to ask Zach some stuff, so I'm going to mute my mic, Sam, so it doesn't like echo over through yours, and you can ask him whatever you would like.
No, I just feel really bad about the whole situation, going into it being like the negative Nelly. So like, do you ever look at somebody and be like, okay, they're not going to see anything, like they're that person? Because I felt that I was that person that night. Like I was the person who was like, this isn't. Do you ever get that, like, you just know somebody's not with it?
No, not really, because a lot of times, some of the biggest skeptics are the ones that need like the biggest evidence out there. So they have the potential to draw in some big fireworks, from my perspective at least. But I mean, you can definitely shut a lot of stuff down if you want to be, a negative Nelly about it. You can really turn the lights off on a lot of things. Fear and negative thinking does a lot to shut things down. So I mean, it's
I
really
shouldn't say that I had that. I shouldn't say I was like negative. I just didn't think that I would experience anything. So to me, that was negative, like on the whole process. But
yeah. Other than, I mean, just being open is the biggest thing. For people to just be open for whatever, but and then what people define as an experience or a sighting varies differently too. So it's kind of what each person wants to take away from it.
But we saw things, right, Sam? You saw even more than me, probably. I know I saw stuff, but you were spending more time looking at the sky because I was spending more time filming you looking at the sky and filming other people looking at the sky. Maybe you can talk about some of the things you saw there, because again, you went in there not like a debunker, but you went in there with a fairly skeptical idea that you weren't going to see anything. So maybe talk about the things you did see.
There were so many like orbs in the sky that I've watched the skies my whole life. I grew up, sitting on a trampoline at my haunted house, my aunt's haunted house. Like, we were always looking for stuff, right? Like, always. Like, you can tell a satellite from a shooting star, but that night, there were so many little orbs that I would see. And then it wasn't just that I saw them, it was how they moved and how they interacted with each other. And it was just very different. And I didn't expect that at all at all. So I was just really surprised because I wasn't part of the whole, the meditation. Me and Dean were both like on the camera. So I wasn't expecting to see anything, honestly. Like I really did not expect to see anything. So I was really surprised when we did. Or when I did. I don't know how much Dean really actually saw. But
No, I saw things as well. Like I'll be honest, I saw things that I think were
they move
anomalous.
in different ways.
Yeah.
And it was just different. It was very different to anything that I've ever watched growing up. And my family always watched the skies. We would the meteor showers, like you'd go out, you'd go sit on the back of the car and you would watch them for hours. But the things that I saw that night were not, I've never seen those in my life. So it was just very eye-opening. So thank you for the experience. But
No,
I was
that's great.
also
Thank you.
there, like I would never have guessed that I would see anything that I thought like, oh yeah, I'll see a few satellites. Like we're gonna go and see some stars that flutter and
Yeah.
a couple satellites. Like yeah, that's it.
Yeah, the skies are quite a bit different nowadays.
Well, maybe that's something you should tell Zach, because we haven't told him yet about our follow-on experience.
From the 4th? You're talking to Zach or me?
I'm talking to you. I'm talking to you, Sam.
From the 4th?
Yeah.
Okay, so after we had been to your event, we had fireworks on the 4th of July. My family was there. It was Dean, Chloe. We had an amazing time. And then all of a sudden we just all started looking. I don't know who noticed it first. Who noticed it?
Maybe your brother noticed it
It might
first?
have been my brother. And he's like, what is that? What is that in the sky? And we're like, oh, and me and Dean were like looking up. It was the same things that we had seen at your event. So we're like, that's weird. Because me and Dean sit outside every night looking at the skies again. For 2 years now, like 2 summers. Like we've been literally like we watch the skies for shooting stars, whatever. We're just looking at the stars. Never have we ever seen these things. And then what was it, 2 weeks after the event?
Yeah,
now
about
we're
a
seeing
week
them again, but we're seeing them at Dean's place. We're not doing the meditation circle. We're just having fireworks and doing our 4th of July thing. And the same things start appearing. We're like, oh. And my brother was super excited. Even my parents were like, that's crazy. Like we've never seen these.
Everybody was. That's the thing. Like everybody there was really shocked at what we were seeing, and maybe in some ways, most of all, Sam and I, because we watch the skies here all the time, and straight away, Sam and I are like, "This is exactly the same as last weekend. What on earth?"
Things are changing, you know.
But it was weird, and now it's super like now I'm questioning like why did we see those again? Why are we seeing these here? Like. And then we saw them again the week after the 4th, me and Dean. It wasn't like I think my brother and my son saw the most like amazing like thing of all of it, but we didn't. I don't think anybody else did see that. It was like a triangle of those orbs, and they were like coming together, and all of a sudden like something happened. And my brother was like, "I've never seen that." My brother is older than I am. He's like, "I've never seen that ever." And he's just like me. He watches the skies. He lives in the country. He sees lots of things. But then Dean and I had seen, I think maybe there were 2 or 3 actually, like the weekend after. But that was it. There was like nothing spectacular. But it was the same like light and the same movement. And then I've seen nothing since then. So.
Do you get that sometimes, Zach? People who come to an event see things more in the period following, or because we were both really surprised.
Yeah, and that's something I tell everyone that be kind of alert on your way home or your dreams afterwards, and the following days, people will have reports of different things happening, different forms of contact. I think someone from it was the last meeting, the one that you guys were at too. She had a kind of like a healing type experience afterwards, and left a mark on her arm that had been kind of marked years prior to that,
Whoa.
in a similar sort of experience that she had. And then, yeah, after that meeting, she went home, and there was some very vivid dreams that had happened, and then this mark showed back up, and so they're coming out quite a bit more, and how they're able to interact with us and get involved is becoming a lot more prevalent. So they're just, yeah, waiting for us to ask to invite them in, and saying we're ready. Help us out.
Wow. Sam, did you have another question before I ask one?
No, I'm just like a little, the whole, you're waiting for the question, like you waited for the question, and then the circle waited for the question, right? Like you guys were all part of the circle. Dean and I were not part of the circle in the meditation, but we still saw that. So like that's what kind of like creeps me out a little bit about the whole situation. Now I'm still like, we still after the fact.
Yeah, and that kind of goes to like the whole, like who it applies to and who this reaches and everything. It's not something that you have to be, a devout Buddhist monk, or you don't have to give up sugar sodas or anything like that. You can drink a Busch Light and still talk to aliens. They're friendly and approachable like that. And we treat the situation lightly, but at the same point, it's still what we're doing. There's a serious aspect to it. You treat it the same way like you would with like anyone that you were going to like great lengths to go visit or do something for. You don't show up schnocker drunk, or zooted off of goofballs or anything. You'd be respectful and everything, but being genuine and authentic is really the biggest thing. So if you're doing that and having a good time, then that really goes farther than hours of meditative practice and I don't want to say fake fronts, but thinking you have to dress a certain way, or you have to burn a certain incense or something. Those things can certainly help you and all, and what you want to get out of the experience is kind of the level that you put into it. But yeah, if you're just hoping to kind of come and experience and observe and see what happens, they're likely to pop by and give you something.
Okay.
I think, well, yeah, on my trip out to Washington, I got to spend some time with my son and his friends, and we went camping, and just really without doing any ceremony at all. I just kind of put it out there. Hey, if you could just kind of throw some fireworks in the sky, something that the kids can see. They're 20 and 21, but this isn't something at the forefront of their of their pursuits right now. They're trying to make a go in the world and all that, so they're not really too worried about Sasquatches or aliens out there. But just being out there and asking for that, their flash bulbs were just going bonkers that night, to the point where they were seeing them and they're like, what was that? There was another one. Like, there it was again. I was like, yeah, see, they're showing up for you.
Wow.
Just enough to make you think.
Were there more things seen after Sam and I left? Because I know a lot of you camped out at the location after, and we'll get to some of the techniques you use, the light and sound, which I find fascinating. But after all of that kind of had stopped and Sam and I finished filming and drove home, I know a lot of you stayed and camped and still watched the skies and sat near looking towards the wood line. Did you have many more experiences that night?
Yeah, I think there was some other flashers, and I think it was like a swimmer or two that went by. So, I mean, no one came by and landed or anything like that, but there was, just some other light activity.
And you've loaded another video here from that. It's from that night, I think. Is that right? Or
Yes, yeah, that was
did you want me to play that one?
Yeah, we can play that real quick.
Okay, I'll put it up and I'll let you narrate.
Because there was actually quite a bit going on while we were while like the music and lights were all going on. There was quite a bit happening up there.
Okay, I'll put that up and then we'll talk a little bit about the lights and music.
Yeah. Just like a couple of flashes there at the beginning. And a lot of these were kind of single frame flashes that I captured. This was our first event with the full DJ service like this, so that was exciting. And then, that very last one was kind of one of those swimmers.
Just fascinating. Talk a little bit about, you said it was the first time you did the light show and had the music. And you also told me, and it's in Home Movie Legend Trip, it's part of the interview of yours that we used. The whole interview was great, but obviously the show's only short format, so we can only use so much. But that before you, there'd been a French group back in the day that had done this kind of stuff. Can you talk a little bit about that? Or
I'm getting their name right now, but
I think you said it was Ethership or the Ethership or something.
Yes, Ethership. And they were, experimenting with using, light and sound technology, music to, kind of channel contact through. And supposedly they were having some good successes with it. And Jacques Vallée had worked with them. And then that had actually became inspiration for the Close Encounters of the Third Kind movie when they were in the backside of Devil's Tower, kind of with the big keyboard and light board. And and so I kind of leaned into that. And then with my kind of ET contacts, the ones that I talked to ask to show up to these events, they're all about it too, because anything that kind of gets that vibration up, that joy, dancing, people kind of being together and just being kind of that happiness goes really long ways. So
we had a question from Squatch Mama, who's a regular listener and viewer of the show, and she asked, "You seem incredibly calm and grounded, Mr. Skrede. How do you stay so composed in the moment? I think I would be way too excited."
I don't know. I guess I've had my excited moments already. I've kind of gotten that phase through and had my initial experiences and gotten through that big oh wow period. So now it's kind of my turn to stay cool and calm and collected and grounded and help others through it and guide everyone else to the experience and be able to observe them enjoy it.
Sam, any other questions? I'll ask Sam something too. I found, and maybe you can tell me, it's interesting because you were somebody there who was an experiencer as well. So of the night's events, how did you feel what the energy was like, or how did you feel the vibe was there, Sam?
It's very comfortable. It was very accepting, very comfortable, very like trust. I've been like in woods with like fires, bonfires, everything, and even then you kind of feel uneasy sometimes. You have like this like like there's the back 40 and what's going to come out of there. Like you're anticipating something to happen, right? But like there was just a very calm, and I wouldn't have expected that doing what what you were doing, right? Like I would have been like, oh, we're seeing stuff. Like I should be scared. Like I should be, but it was a very calm, very accepting atmosphere. Like it was very good. It was very, very chill. Just like maybe it's you, maybe it's because you are super chill, but it was a very chill place to be. Like it was very accepting. So
no, thanks so much.
It was very different than I've ever had before. So
honored to hear that. I'm glad it felt that way to you. Because yeah, if you had looked it up on Google Maps when I moved in originally, there was just a trailer back there in the middle of the woods, and it's in the middle of Adams County. That would make a lot of people feel very unchill. So
did you ever have any unchill feelings before you did this stuff? Like when you were there and you first started cleaning up, like did you have were you ever like, oh, this is maybe not the place, but I'm gonna make it the place?
Yeah, there's a whole big news articles and everything on that. It had some pretty rowdy history when I bought it and moved in. So land carried quite a bit of trauma, and I went through quite a bit to get that cleaned up and straightened out, and kind of, so we can do this type of work. It was crazy. Yeah, kind of what we went through day one to get it to where it is now. But it was all for a purpose, and good in the end.
Was the atmosphere different with the music and with the lights than it feels like at other events either you've hosted or been to? Do you think that made a difference to the vibe of the night? Did that make a difference to the success of the night? Like maybe talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, I think it did. I think it added another layer of enrichment to the evening. Kind of like the same if you watched a movie that had no music, if you watched The Sound of Music, on mute or with just the dialogue, it'd feel kind of weird.
Right.
Because, we've played kind of some stuff on a speaker in the background before, and during the meditation, there's some, kind of hemisync music playing. But this was the first time where we really kind of got up and everyone into it. So, it will definitely be a recurring element.
Did the attendees, were they like, yeah, this is something we should be doing going forward? More music, more sound.
Yeah, I think so. It was positive feedback all the way around on it. And some people wanted like, well, not necessarily everyone's style of music and lights and dance, so kind of we'll just tailor certain weekends to more of that, and tune it down for other ones, for other people that aren't into so much of the dancing scene.
Well, I mean, I think there's been a history in older religious traditions and various occult practices and various, but I guess pagan and even some Christian festivals throughout the Middle Ages where music and, and maybe not a light show then, but certainly people then would have had fires and, so it would have been lights. It would have just been, organized differently. Seems to have been a part of some of these type of attempts in the past to contact the other. So I don't, while I mightn't have thought instantly that would be something that would be a part of a process like this or an event like this, it kind of makes sense when you look at the history of contacting, the other, or having these type of experiences.
Yeah, certain levels of like chanting and gnoming get into it too. Yeah.
Right. So how often are you I don't know, because I was lucky enough to be invited to that one, but are you planning on hosting these events somewhat regularly, like monthly, biannually, every few months, I don't know what your plan is going forward, how often you think you'll have these events?
Yeah, we're doing monthly right now. So the next one is this Saturday.
Oh, wow.
I think it's 7. August 1st.
Do you tend to vet people that come to these? Like, we were lucky enough to have been invited by the wonderful Melissa Kane, who runs Contact Modalities Expo, and I was a speaker there, and she knows Sam and I. But is it something that you guys are kind of careful on who, you're going to just let come to this and have this experience, or how do you work that aspect of it out?
The people that need to be there are there, so it's kind of worked pretty well.
I think everybody there was, there didn't seem to be any problem. But I can imagine sometimes in an event like this, there was, just a public announcement. I can imagine some people who might show up would be disruptive, or might be crazy, or might be problematic in some other way. Or
yeah, and I mean, we'll get them, and you deal with them case by case as they come with. That was one thing I actually talked with James Gillian at ESETI, and said, I'm kind of doing a similar thing here in Wisconsin, if you had any pointers or whatever. And he just kind of almost had this spaced off stare and just said, you're going to meet some weird people. So,
if somebody did want to have this type of experience as part of your group or as part of your events, is there a way they can reach out to be vetted first, or is there any way somebody who doesn't know you or I or Melissa Kane or part of your bigger group, is there a way somebody can knock on the door, or an email or anything like, or a place they can reach out to? Or
we kind of operate the Facebook group primarily. I've got a website being developed right now that's going to be stood up any day now. We'll go into the Wildcat Sky Ranch phase of operations. So I don't know who El Pirado is, but he was someone that from Canon. So he knows
I don't know what Wildcat is. Maybe you can feel it.
Cat energy. No, it was a nickname I picked up while I was in the Air Force at Cannon. It's Airwolf. Oh, geez. Airwolf. So, you get fun connections like this through life. But, nickname that stuck. And, we're applying it to the name of this. And we'll be offering individual sessions, and it's going to be a whole big thing.
One perhaps final question, and then we'll talk about the Facebook group again and how people find that. Are there precautions, or do you ever think it's dangerous to open these kind of channels or encourage things in, or like you ever worried about having a negative intelligence or a negative presence come, and how do you deal with that type of thing?
In the group deal, like I will put out lots of protection, like stuff as we do the meditation. There's lots of things beforehand. The site alone is a huge amount of protection. But it absolutely can draw negative things in. I mean, when I started, I had no clue at all what I was doing. I was just Wild West out there gunslinging in the ethers, having a good old time. And a lot of negative stuff got kicked up in the meantime. And figuring out how to deal with all of them was a whole big process. But keeping in the group, keeping positive in there, keeping the power of love foremost and in the forefront more than anything, really keeps us pretty safe throughout it all.
No, it's like Sam and I said, it's funny because I said the similar thing before Sam came on, that it didn't feel like it was a negative space at all, but I'm always concerned with opening those doors. Often occultists I've noticed, be careful the doors you open, things might, and I tend to feel that way myself, but I'm glad that you've experienced that and you have a sense of how to stop that from happening. So maybe let's point people at the Facebook group. So how do they find the Facebook group?
You can just search Wisconsin CE5 and it'll take you right to it. You ask to join and get you included in there. And then that's got the calendar with all the events in it and kind of some of the discussion of what's going on. People post things in there here and there. So, but then, yeah, the website coming on, that'll have pages for each event and where people can kind of leave their experiences and send in photos and videos. And then we'll have a nice little kind of journal and archive of everything also as we're moving along.
Do you have, I know it's not up yet, but do you have what your domain name will be yet? Because
yeah, it'll be wildcatskyranch.com.
Wildcatskyranch.com, all one word?
Yep, all one word.
Okay, because somebody might be listening to this well after, July 30th, 2026. So then they might be able to go straight to that and find you there as well.
Yep. And we're also kind of putting a mirror up of it it's just Wisconsin CE5. So if, people Google, how can I CE5 in Wisconsin or whatever, it'll get them to us as well.
Well, Zach, thanks so much for coming on. And Sam, thank you for joining us as well tonight. It was fun to have you here as well to talk to Zach. Yeah, that's about it for me. I'm really grateful that you came on, Zach. It was so great to have you, and you were such a wonderful host when you had us to the event. We're so grateful that we were able to shoot Home Movie Legend Trip there, our third episode. And anybody who might want to watch some of that can easily find Home Movie Legend Trip, the YouTube channel, or you can find it also on Facebook, and you can watch the UFO Contact one, which features Zach and his wonderful event. So thank you, Zach, for being here with us tonight.
Yeah, thanks, Dean and Sam. Yeah, thanks for coming out and enjoying having your experience and having me on the show, and keeping this going.
Well, until I talk to you, Zach, which hopefully will be in the near future, and until I talk to you, Sam, which will hopefully be very soon. And before I say goodbye, Sam, is there anything you wanted to say? Because I was about to do my sign out.
Thank you, Zach, so much for everything. I appreciate it.
Yeah, sure thing. Thank you.
And Zach and Sam and everybody else that I'll talk to next week, same weird time, 9 p.m. Central, Thursday night, same weird network, the Untold Radio Network. Please keep it weird.